You won't believe what went down between Blueface and Hazel. This isn't just another celebrity breakup. A 45-year-old woman, a convicted felon, secret DMS, $5,000 bribes, and public humiliation all happening just days after he got out of prison. Hazel thought she'd be the main girl, but the truth, it's messier, darker, and way more shocking than anyone imagined. Stick around, because we're breaking down every wild moment and every receipt you need to see. Alright, let's start with the basics. Blueface, you're a convicted felon. And Hazel, she's a 45-year-old woman who got caught up in all this chaos. Let's break it down. Hazel knew she was probably too old to be messing with Blue in the first place, but she went for it anyway. She got caught up, thinking he'd treat her better than he treated Chrisean or Jonathin. Spoiler, he didn't, and now Hazel is online, spilling all the tea and showing receipts of Blueface's shady dealings. Yes, you heard that right. Turns out, Blueface has been playing a much bigger game than most people realized. It's not just about women, he's been messing with men too, keeping a lot of people guessing about who he's really involved with. Naturally, that means the rules in his world are flexible, to say the least. He's the one bending boundaries, breaking expectations, and creating drama wherever he goes. Hazel and Blue first made headlines when they showed up together just 3 days after he got out of prison. The timing alone set off alarms for anyone following his story, because the moment he stepped back into the public eye, it seemed like chaos was following him. And it did. Everywhere they went, drama seemed to bloom like clockwork. Fans and observers couldn't help but notice the tension, the stares, the whispers, and the occasional outbursts that seemed almost scripted but were very real. In the middle of all this, Blue made a statement that left people scratching their heads. He said he had left both Jonathin and Croc for Hazel, calling her a golden retriever type of girl. Now, what does that mean exactly? No one really knows. Is it a compliment, a nickname, a type of personality he's into, or is it just another of his infamous labels he slaps on women as he cycles through them? The truth is, it's probably a little bit of all of that. What's clear though is that Hazel got caught up in a pattern that's been ongoing for Blue since his release. This golden retriever label isn't just a casual phrase, it seems to be his way of defining the type of women he chooses. After coming out of serious situations, like prison, it's almost like a checklist: loyalty, affection, and a willingness to be there for him without asking too many questions. That might explain why Hazel, despite being 45 and seemingly too old for the kind of chaos Blue thrives on, found herself in this whirlwind. She thought she could handle it. She thought she could be the one he'd stick with, at least for a little while. But that assumption quickly collided with reality. Hazel's history with Blue is a story of timing and misaligned expectations. They've known each other for years. He first slid into her DMS back in 2019, just before she got married. They didn't keep in touch at the time. And when she went through her divorce in 2023, he reached out again. By that point, he was still involved with Croc and Jonathin, but he kept Hazel in the mix. Then, the moment he got out of prison, he messaged her a third time. This time, things seemed different. He assured her that his relationships with Croc and Jonathin were over, creating the impression that Hazel might finally get the main spot in his life. For Hazel, that timing made her feel special. She believed she was the main girl, at least for a while. She thought she had secured a place in Blue's chaotic world. But Blueface has a pattern. He creates intense connections, brings women into the spotlight, and then leaves them once the novelty fades or when someone else grabs his attention. Hazel was about to learn this the hard way. Things escalated quickly. Just a few days after his release, they were being followed, filmed, and scrutinized everywhere they went. TMZ caught wind of their movements, and it became clear that Hazel had a habit of calling them herself. Almost like she wanted the cameras to document every moment. That wasn't sitting well with Blue. He felt like she was turning their private time into public spectacle, making him look scripted or fake. Blue even sent her money, reportedly $5,000, to keep her in the relationship despite the revelations about his other involvements. But money wasn't going to buy loyalty or erase the tension. Hazel went live to express her frustration, calling out Blue for being a convicted felon and pointing out his questionable behaviors with other men. She made it clear that she had only been with him as a favor, not because she was emotionally invested or because she trusted him completely. For Blue, this wasn't unusual. He has a track record of intense, messy relationships that explode in public. He even publicly labeled Hazel as too old to act in the way she was acting, calling out her constant need for attention from TMZ and framing it as a problem in the relationship. He claimed that she cared too much about what fans thought, and not enough about staying loyal to him personally. From Hazel's perspective, though it was more than just a clash of personalities, she stopped supporting him financially when she discovered he was still involved with other women even while he was in prison. She had expected some level of loyalty or consistency, and what she got instead was disappointment and public humiliation. By the time the dust settled, it was obvious that Hazel had never been a permanent fixture in Blue's world. He wasn't looking for a serious, long-term relationship. He was using her as a temporary companion, someone to support him in the aftermath of prison life. Hazel got dragged into the public eye, called out, and left to deal with the fallout on her own. And so, the story of Blue and Hazel serves as a clear illustration of his pattern. High drama, brief connections, and labels for the women who enter his orbit. He came out of prison, created excitement, and quickly left Hazel behind, moving on to the next chapter without missing a beat. For fans watching, it's a messy, unpredictable saga that highlights just how chaotic Blue's life and relationships truly are. In the end, Hazel's brief time with Blueface was a whirlwind of drama, attention, and disappointment. She got caught up in a pattern that's been ongoing since he stepped out of prison. Intense, fleeting relationships, public scrutiny, and labels that are more confusing than flattering. And while she might have hoped to be the main girl, the reality was that in Blue's world, no one stays in the spotlight for long. The timing made things even messier. Right before all this, he was on a live stream with Croc, and people immediately asked, "Wait, what about Crow?" That live stream was humiliating for Croc. Blue had her doing degrading stuff, literally making her bark like a dog, and when she tried to kiss him, he looked completely uninterested. Hazel thought he'd still have feelings for Croc, but he's been with everyone else except her. It's clear she's hurting, but honestly, Blue choosing Hazel over Croc shows he's truly done with Crac.tmz. Caught up with Hazel and Blue, and that's when Hazel dropped a major revelation. She and Blue have actually known each other for years. Their connection goes all the way back to 2019, long before any of the recent chaos. According to Hazel, he first slid into her DMs just before she got married. At the time, they exchanged messages, but life got in the way, and they lost touch. It seemed like a small spark that never caught fire. Nothing that would have made headlines back then. Fast forward a few years, and life had changed dramatically for Hazel. In 2023, she was going through her divorce, navigating the emotional and personal challenges that come with ending a long-term relationship. It was during this turbulent time that Blue reached out to her again. This time, the timing seemed better, at least from Blue's perspective, but Hazel soon realized the situation wasn't straightforward. He was still involved with Croc and Jaden, juggling multiple complicated relationships at once. Despite the messy circumstances, the communication between Hazel and Blue continued. They exchanged messages, reconnected, and slowly rebuilt a connection that had been dormant for years. Hazel, understandably cautious, tried to make sense of it all. She wondered if this time would be different or if it was just another chapter in a long series of confusing encounters. For her, it wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about seeing if there was a real chance to be part of Blue's life in a meaningful way. Then came the turning point. Blue got out of prison. The moment he was released, he dimmed Hazel for a third time. This time, however, it felt different. The conversations had a new energy, a sense of urgency and honesty that hadn't been there before. Blue made it clear that his relationships with Croc and Jaden were over. He told Hazel that things were finished with them, implying that she might finally have a chance to be a central part of his life. For Hazel, it seemed like the stars were aligning. After years of knowing each other on and off, the timing appeared perfect. She felt like she could finally have the connection she had hoped for, a chance to be the main girl, even if just for a short while. But as anyone following Blue knows, things in his world are rarely simple, and this new beginning was about to face the same unpredictability, drama, and chaos that has defined so much of his life and relationships. For a while, it seemed like Blue and Hazel might actually make it work. But of course, things went sideways, just like with Jaden and Croc. Recently, Blue publicly dumped Hazel in one of the most embarrassing ways possible. He said she's too old to be acting the way she does, constantly calling TMZ to show up and record them everywhere they went. It seems Hazel started asking too much of him, and Blue wasn't willing to give it, especially after being together for only about 20 days. He said, "Hazel you're too old to be acting this young. We're done. Care too much about what the fans think? I need 100% support." Everywhere we went, she called TMZ and had them waiting outside. It started to feel like a setup. And that's the story. Short, messy, and full of receipts. Hazel got played, Blue stayed Blue, and the internet got another wild saga to follow. Hazel wasn't having it. She said she doesn't move like that old head, meaning she didn't appreciate how Blue was acting. TMZ is supposed to catch you outside, unexpectedly, not like an appointment. When Hazel found out everything Blue had said, she got heated and went live to drag him. She made it clear she was only with him as a favor, nothing more. She called him out for being a nasty convicted felon and even hinted at his secret relationships with other men. Apparently, Blue even sent her $5,000 to keep her in the relationship after she learned about all his mess. The well-known TikToker, dubbed the DL Whisperer, also weighed in, claiming he had already told Hazel about Blue, but she didn't care. Hazel wasn't holding back. "I'm done with you. You over here being disrespectful, kissing trailer park trash, doing all this wild stuff. I'm too old for this. You're a convicted felon. Let's start there." She went on about how he had previously bought her flights, sent her money, and even just recently sent her $5,000. All while expecting loyalty and silence from her, but Hazel refused to play that role. Blue also tried to put a positive spin on things, talking about celebrating people being true to themselves and supporting the LGBTQ community. But when it came to the $5,000 rumors, he brushed it off as chicken change. And regarding the DL download allegations, complete silence. The real reason Hazel was hurt was emotional. She thought she might actually be the one for a while, especially after Blue went off on Crow and Jaden for allegedly abandoning him in prison. Blue made it clear he never forgets who left him while he was locked up. "I got out thinking I had a girlfriend locked in, but nothing's ever really locked in. Now I'm back out, looking for something serious," he said. He also admitted that both of his baby mamas left him stranded while he was inside. He made it clear that if he hadn't gotten out, they'd still be messed up, but he wasn't going to let it happen again. Hazel, understandably, was furious. Watching him parade her around was one thing, but now she was also being publicly shamed for not holding him down while he was locked up. She stopped sending him money after learning he was still messing around with other women. "I left a cheating man. What do I look like? Paying your bills while you cheat? Get those girls to do it," she said. She also spoke about the emotional and physical toll he caused Herkleman. He mistreated her and ignored her son, posing him for clout and disowning him knowing he was Blue's child. In the end, Hazel should have known she wasn't going to be a permanent part of this chaos. Blue was never looking for a serious relationship. He just wanted someone to keep him company after prison. Hazel got used, hurt and humiliated. The internet witnessed every messy moment. And it seems like Blue got exactly what he wanted. But let's pause for a second. What do you think about the age gap between him and Hazel? She's 45, and the reactions online have been wild. One person said, "I know damn well nobody's mad he broke up with Hazel. Why would that even be a good match?" And honestly, that's the reality of dating. You meet someone, see if they fit your life, and if they don't, you move on without getting too invested. Others were calling the whole thing fake. Like, "Didn't I tell y'all this was staged? That man ain't gonna keep that girl." People also pointed out that Hazel just wasn't popping enough for him to stay interested. And now fans are bracing for another round of drama between Croc, Jaden, and Blueface, especially if a bigger story or new twist doesn't hit soon. So now it's over to you. What do you think about Blue dumping Hazel? Do you think he's really done, or is he planning to circle back to someone else maybe? Zeus? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And of course, don't forget to check out this other messy video for even more of the chaos.